Yeah, so I was thinking how to make the sessions more interactive rather than just putting the slides. I'll be going through the slides anyway, right? But we'll go through even the knowledge areas and tasks, maybe in an interactive manner. I'll try to simulate an exact classroom session as much as possible, so we can use the whiteboard that is available through Zoom. So that's my plan today, right? So last week we started looking at business analysis, planning, and monitoring, and I was just talking about the I was just giving an introduction to this particular knowledge area, right? So like I said, business analysis, planning, and monitoring consists of two main areas. Planning all business analysis work, and then monitoring the business analysis work, to ensure that we continuously improve whatever tasks we perform, right? So this is, like I said, the first task that will be done, and this will be an ongoing task which will happen initially, right throughout the initiative, and even after the initiative is done. Let me share the screen. So this is what we looked at. So this is the first task that will be done. It will be done at the start of an initiative. Right throughout the initiative, we need to keep on replanning. We need to check whether we are actually achieving what we set out, and then even after an initiative. So if I ask a question from you all, first of all, do you all plan your work as analysts? If you all are given ample time to plan, what sort of planning activities do you do? Hello?
Say for an example, if you have to gather requirements for a project, then you kind of plan what how you're gonna capture the requirements, what kind of sessions are they going to be, like uh, focus group sessions, or like meetings where you have workshops and drill down the requirements and who are the participants. So you kind of have to plan each and every aspect of how that sessions are going to be conducted, the stakeholders involved, and what method you will. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you are talking about capturing requirements from different stakeholders. In order to do that, we need to plan. So you would do some sort of planning in terms of identifying what sort of elicitation needs to happen, what sort of information needs to be captured, identify who the stakeholders are, from whom we will get the information, who are the business owners. For example, if we are studying about a bank, who are the business owners, who are the executives that we need to talk to, what are the techniques that we need to use, and so on. Right, correct. Is it only for elicitation that you plan? Is it only to collect the information that you need, that you do some sort of planning? Or the others also can tell me, do you do any other planning? I'll ask the people then. Purnima, how about you? What sort of planning do you do?
Myself, I just first try to understand from the PM, like what is the approach of the project. And then as Rifat mentioned, I mean, like if it's a waterfall, then I have to plan my documentation. I have to get the timelines and try to see what actually deliver value to the customers. I mean, like I can do hundreds of documents, but if they, what the preference of the customer and how I'm going to deliver them, that's one. And then I would also think who are the stakeholders. Like I would try to understand who are my stakeholders, like, you know, A to Z, who are the people who are interested in impacted, like all these things, like who are the people I should focus on.
Okay,
mostly.
so you will focus on the stakeholders, you will focus on the documentation. Rifat,
Value,
you said,
yeah.
okay, value, and Rifat mentioned about collecting the information. and the type of information to be collected. Anything else?
About the hosting of the final product also, like
in the sense,
but it's the environment you're at the end of the day where your solution will be hosted. If the final location is like, the context, the language selection, I mean, who are your end users, who are your, I mean, for that, like where it's going to be hosted, your hardware, that side also, like not just the requirements.
Okay, so you're talking about non-functional requirements in a sense, right? Plan for your requirements, basically, is it?
Yeah, more of like
it's not just the
context.
Okay, it's not just the non-functional requirements and the transition requirements that you need to plan for. You need to plan for all the types of requirements, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anything else that you are planning for?
Financial plan.
Creating a financial plan. What sort of budget you require to do your business analysis activities? Good. Okay. To do your analysis activities. Anything else that you are planning for?
Communication plan, how you would like to share the information across stakeholders.
Okay, good. Any other planning?
Sort of like a resource planning.
To do your business analysis work, what sort of resources do you need?
Yes.
Okay, to do your analysis work, to do your requirements elicitation work, to collect the information from stakeholders, what sort of resources do you need? And then to do your analysis, to do your documentation, to do any type of BA work, what sort of resources do you need? Okay. Any other planning? So in terms of, okay, what sort of deliverables we need to produce? Is it a document? Is it a list of items? Is it a backlog? Is it a model, or is it a diagram that we are going to create? Okay, good. And the techniques that we want to follow.
You also need to plan how we are going to gain the domain knowledge, right?
Okay, good. So how are you going to learn about the domain?
Yeah.
You need to plan for that.
That's the first thing. Yeah.
Okay. You have covered most of the stuff in terms of planning, right? Something that you'll need missed are in terms of governing the business analysis work. Governance, right? How are you going to, for example, manage the different versions of documents that you create? How are you going to plan on how to prioritize your work, even to prioritize your requirements? What sort of techniques are you going to use? How are you going to trace your requirements? From whom did we get get these requirements or information? How are these pieces of information related to each other? How are we going to keep track of that, right? How are we going to store the information that we collect? Are we going to document everything as a Word document and maybe store on our machine, or are we going to store it in a server? Are we going to store all our documentation maybe on a requirements management tool? So we talked about requirements management tools last time, Trello, Jira, and so on. So where are we going to store? How are we going to manage the different versions? So all those things are related to governance, right? In addition to that, how are you going to measure the performance? Planning, how are you going to review the work that you are doing as a business analyst, right? How are we going to measure the performance of an elicitation session? How are we going to measure or review the deliverables that are produced? How are we going to review the documents? Are we going to do a peer review? Are we going to get our seniors to review? Are we going to get fellow analysts to review our work? Those sort of things. In addition to that, things like how are we going to plan how to manage the risks and issues that are involved, right? How are we going to manage the dependencies of our work as analysts to other pieces of work? How are we going to basically plan risk management? You all mentioned about communication. So anything to do with analysis work needs to be planned, basically. And this planning can happen at any point in time. Before you start the work, right? Even if it is a pre-sales piece of work that we're going to do, we will need to plan. Even if it is some sort of process improvement, we will need to plan. And when we start the work, again, we need to keep on planning and revising our plans on an ongoing basis. If it is a product, if we are a product analyst, not just software products, it can be any other products also. If we are a product analyst or a manager, we need to plan the next version of our product. right? We need to plan out how we are going to produce our product. How are we going to do the market analysis, for example? How are we going to price? How are we going to create the subscription models for our product? How are we going to create the market segments? How are we going to do the marketing if it is a market analyst, right? So on an ongoing basis, you need to plan. And even after deploying the solution, you will need to plan. For example, how are you going to do the support work? How are you going to do the rework? How are you going to manage the changes? How would the approvals for changes be done, right? Who has the authority? So if anything to do with analysis will need to be planned. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So planning is one thing, and then monitoring performance on an ongoing basis is another thing. Basically, we are checking whether whatever we committed to is being met or not. So it's an evaluation between expected performance of analysis work against the actual performance, right? Again, it's applicable for any area that I mentioned earlier. And then I mentioned this on the last day also, the notes that are there. This is important. Though you all mentioned things like communication plan, documentation plan, business analysis plan, the BA-BOK doesn't define the word plan, right? The BA-BOK calls these the outputs of each of these tasks as approaches. There's nothing called a plan in the BA-BOK guide. When I studied for the CBEP exam, there was a task. The second task of the planning knowledge area was plan BA activities, plan business analysis activities. Now there's no such task in BA-BOK version 3. Planning the tasks or the activities that we as analysts want to do is clubbed together with the first task in this knowledge area. So we'll look at the tasks in the next slide. In addition to that, in addition to identifying tasks, there's no task related to estimating the effort that you need to put for each of the tasks. That also is covered in Plan BA approach task. Okay, so let's talk about the core concept model.
Ramesh, one small question.
Yeah.
When it comes to support work and support task and change request management, like in I don't know, I've never done this planning support and planning for change requests. I mean, like, I know how that change requests will come, but how they're going to get managed and how the support is going to work and all these things are as a part of project management. I mean, I thought it's a part of project manager's duty to that. I'm just asking.
Yeah, correct. So that's what the BA-BOK is saying now. You as analysts, you need to plan your work. You are the analyst, right? The project manager is not the analyst. The project manager is not going to do the analysis work. You are the person who's going to do this piece of work. So you need to create your own plan, right? Okay. You know what you're saying. In the past, what happened is there was a project manager. That person will not even contact the analyst.
No, really, no, yeah.
I think that's not happening now even, right? Yeah. The project manager will just put a list of tasks. Yeah. Dilanka, you also can give an input. For you also, are you having a manager who is putting down all the tasks that you need to do rather than asking you what needs to be done?
Yeah, both things are happening. Sometimes I play the role as the customer in some projects, and some projects are asked to do by managers to me.
Okay, so the manager identifies the tasks and tells you, okay, these are the things that needs to be done. You go ahead and do it, right?
Yes.
Now what the BA-BOK is saying, no, that shouldn't be the case. You are the analyst. You know what needs to be done. You know whom to contact. You know the stakeholders that you need to talk to. You know the documents that needs to be created. You know the type of analysis that needs to be done. Even for changes, you know the template that needs to be used, right? You know the areas that needs to be analyzed in terms of an impact analysis, isn't it? Right? So you need to plan. You need to plan how you are going to handle changes, or how you are going to handle defects, how you are going to facilitate the discussions in terms of defect handling. Now, can you all remember I said that there's nothing called a plan in the BA-BOK guide, but what the BA-BOK is suggesting is, so we'll try to do this also. we can tailor it and create our own business analysis plan. The companies also can have their own template for a BA plan. In this, at least at a high level, we need to have line items. So to answer your question, Purnima, what ideally should happen is at the start of the project, you should start creating your own plan, fill in as much detail as possible, and this plan will keep on evolving. For example, support will not happen immediately itself. No, support will happen later on. So when it comes to the point where you need to do support, update your plan. So if these are the type of issues that might come, if it is this type of an issue, these are the type of analysis that I need to do. These are the tools that I'm planning to use. Like that, you can create at least at a high level plan. So I can give an example. When I was working at, so I won't mention the name of the company. When I was working in this company, I was allocated to a project which was about to end. The project had been running for 2 years, right? I was told, okay, Rumesh, take up this project. There are only 2 more months remaining. The first thing that I asked them was, okay, where's the BA plan? What sort of work has been done up to now? I need to get an idea. For that, I need to know what has been done by the BA up to now and what items have been ticked off. Nothing was there. I had to tell them, no, I can't take up this project because I don't know what needs to be done.
Umesh, my first project at Virtusa is something like that.
Okay.
It's a code kit.
Okay, well, you all mentioned the name of the company.
So Rumesh, no, actually now I remember, I think you told me this scenario, but now I know you got away with saying that right now, but
I worked, yeah.
No, what I'm saying is this, right? At least when you get into that project at that time, you need to be given the chance to create a plan. At least for the remaining 2 months, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
And you need to pass it on to your manager, your project manager or your reporting manager, whoever, and tell them, okay, this is my plan. You tell me whether you are in line with this, whether you are happy with this. Happy to discuss.
So my question is how mature are these companies and their project teams? Where are they going to be okay with it? Like, for example, I just took on some work. And I mean, the KT was not even given properly. It was something about statistics, and there were certain statistics and graphs that need to be created, which means it is a lot of data. And I am supposed to do it for Monday. I still don't really know how to do it. So in such a scenario, now it's just, so obviously it's in my bucket and I have to now figure out through the weekend how to get this done, because whoever who was doing it before just doesn't want to, teach or whatever. So now that sounds like I'm trying to say like now, even if you do push back in a reality sort of situation, are the companies mature enough to be like, okay, fine, if you're going to do the transition, we need to, there is a BA plan in place.
Yeah, try to do this. At least communicate with them, right? Now the business stakeholders, and if you can get your Nilushi, right? Nilushi, no, she knows. She went through the same program, no, right? So that's something that I highlighted. Okay. Allow the BAs to create their own plan. At least give them 1 day to come up with a list of items that they are planning to do.
They need. Yeah,
correct. And they only can tell to get the information from these guys. The BA needs at least 2 days. These things need to be available. There should be some assumptions and assumptions that needs to be satisfied for the BA to collect the information. That communication needs to happen. That should actually come from the top.
So I'm guessing in terms of now the process involved in general, because now most companies now they're trying to be more process oriented, right? So then the BA planning should be included as part of the process. And also again, if there's a BA being transitioned out, then this should be the process, something to that effect, right?
Correct.
So that should be part of it. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, actually, that's something I should.
That's actually available at Virtusa. So if you know, Virtusa has the BA plan. No, it's not used. It's not used, but there's a document called a BA plan, an analyst plan. That should be there. Maybe not an extensive 50-page document, but at least 1 or 2 pages.
Rumesh, with the time constraints and all, does this thing like really happen?
No.
I mean, for an example, transitions, I've never gotten any. I mean,
that's where most of the companies go wrong, right? I mean, the project manager will put a list of tasks that the BA needs to do and say that, okay, BA effort is 20% of the developer's time.
exactly. Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. Who are they to say that? You are the analyst. You need to know what you are getting into. So what the BA book is suggesting is this: how it is implemented is up to you all to convince now to your management or to the companies, right? I know the reality is different. How you manage that now? This is the BA book is only talking about the best practices. BA book is suggesting allow the BAs to create their own plans around any type of analysis activity they do. Even if it is a financial analysis, even if it is a process analysis piece of work, IT development piece of work, product, whatever, allow them the opportunity to create their plan.
Because from my experience, what I know is the majority of the companies doesn't do it, because there's this one project which we did for requirements itself was like 1.5 years. Yeah. And
1.5 years.
Yes, 1.5 years.
Okay.
And it is a massive one. And I mean, when everyone else is working for 8 hours, I had to work for 16 hours just to make sure that the plan, I mean, I'm within the timelines.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, for 1.5 years, I did the same thing, like almost every weekend, 16 hours weekdays. Because that's not happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
So again, that comes with the industry maturity of exactly like what a BA is, and because even at ADL, I don't see it. They still don't have that. Like, okay, a BA is like they just document.
Yeah, Kataya West doesn't know it. Yeah, they don't know who a BA is.
Yeah. My suggestion is this: even if your companies don't have this practice, right? You let the people know that I mean, you need to have a plan. Otherwise, you can't get into something. Give me some time. I'll create a plan. I'll come up with a set of ideas. I'll share it with you all. Give me your feedback. And tell them that this plan is evolving. I mean, at the initial phase itself, you will not know everything. This plan will get updated.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, in terms of applying it to the core concept model, now I said that this core concept model will keep on repeating now. In terms of applying the BA planning and monitoring knowledge area to this core concept model, what it says is this: if you want to change something, you need to plan. It can be an entire change initiative that needs to be planned in terms of everything that we discussed, or it can even be a small change that we do to a process, a small business unit, or even a piece of document that we have created. Anything that we want changed, right? Where an analyst needs to get involved in changing something, that needs to be planned in terms of how a request would come in to change it, how that request would be analyzed, how it would be authorized, or who will authorize it, and how that change will be enabled, right? In terms of planning, the solution needs to be planned. How we are going to define the solution, how we are going to identify different solution options, how we are going to evaluate the solution options, how are we going to implement the solution, how are we going to measure the performance on an ongoing basis, and afterwards directly. So everything related to the solution in terms of planning and monitoring is captured there. Similarly, the context in which the change is happening again needs to be planned. Context will involve the environment. Now, you all said that, okay, we need to use these particular tools to do the documentation, right? We need to use these techniques to do it. We need to study the environment first of all. For that, we need to have a plan. We need to know the logistics that are required. We need to know the resources that are required. The entire context needs to be planned so that the BA can provide proper analysis work. The value that will be created needs to be planned. So this value can be in terms of a document, in terms of the product or the solution that we create, in terms of the change that we enable. How are we going to create this value? How are we going to capture the value? How are we going to measure the benefits of that particular value on an ongoing basis? So all those things again needs to be planned and monitored. Stakeholders, that's understood. No, who are the stakeholders? How are we going to deal with them? Communication, collaboration, everything needs to be planned. And then needs. How are the needs going to be identified? Basically, how are the requirements going to be identified? How are the requirements going to be modeled, captured, right? And then all the aspects related to prioritizing, tracing the requirements, storing the requirements, everything that I mentioned in terms of capturing the problem, analyzing the problem or opportunity, and then converting them to requirements will need to be planned and managed. Is that okay? Okay, so I'll move forward. So these are the 5 tasks in this particular knowledge area. Everything that we discussed are broken down into the first 4 tasks mainly, and then the 5th task, identify business analysis performance improvements, is to do with monitoring the BA performance. Let's go through these one by one. Before that, this again is an introduction to this particular chapter. Again, what we will see in terms of tasks. What you all see over here as inputs, needs, internal influencers and external influencers. These are the 3 common inputs for all 5 tasks. That's why I have put this as a separate slide. This does not mean that, for example, one of these tasks, let's say plan BA governance, only takes in these inputs. No, these are the common inputs. There are some more inputs that you will see when we go into the chapter and into the tasks. We'll talk about what we mean by needs, internal influences, and external influences. First of all, needs, we already know that we are talking about the problem or the opportunity that needs to be analyzed. So we need to plan for that. There will be internal influences and external influences. Now, what we mean by internal influences and external influences, basically this involves even the objectives that the organization wants to achieve, right? For example, there will be certain limitations or constraints, first of all, which are coming from inside the organization as well as external entities. We saw that earlier. So there are limitations that are coming in from different angles. In addition to that, there are objectives that the organization wants to meet through satisfying these needs. Everything is included as inputs for these 5 tasks. So you see the task that we saw in the previous slide again. Can you see the outputs? The output of plan BA analysis, plan business analysis approach is the BA approach. The output of plan stakeholder engagement is the stakeholder engagement approach. Output of governance, analysis governance is the governance approach. Then we have the information management approach. So all these are approaches except for the last one. And if you all see the tasks also, the first 4 tasks are related to planning, whereas the last one is identifying improvements for BA work on an ongoing basis. Identify performance improvements for the BA work on an ongoing basis. So we need to assess the performance of the BA and the analysis work on an ongoing basis. So this is a task that will keep on repeating, and the output needs to get updated on an ongoing basis. For example, whenever we do an elicitation, now let's say we do an interview of a stakeholder, we can see how the interview went after the session is done. Even if we do a sort of a financial analysis, if we create a budget, we can analyze whether this budget that we created was accurate or not. Even if we do some sort of market analysis, we can again do an evaluation and see, have we identified all the market segments? Have we identified or analyzed all the customer segments? So we can do an analysis and we can assess the performance of the BA. For any type of analysis work, the performance can be analyzed.
Rumesh, now one more
Yes.
question. Now, in a project plan, then in project plan also they need to allocate time for us to make all of this, right? So I don't remember ever seeing it like that.
No, they don't do it. The project managers don't do it. Now, are you talking about plan-driven projects or change-driven projects? We'll talk about that. I'll ask it in a different way. Are you talking about waterfall projects or agile projects?
Both. I've not seen it actually in either.
It should be there. The BA should be allowed at least 1 day to plan, or maybe not 1 day, at least 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours at least to plan.
Like that should be a task in the project plan, right?
Correct.
Okay. Similar to how they have it for the development team.
Yes. Now, we as IT people, we talk about projects which will run for a period of time. But if you take other industries, anyone doing any type of analysis work, for them there might not be a concept called project. For them, it's just the operational task or the marketing piece of work that they do. So whenever they get to do, for example, a marketing event, they will need to plan.
But I feel like when it's a non-IT related project and if it's a BA, I was just like trying to see these outputs in terms of that. Then I feel that they might actually plan for it, because let's say it's a governance approach or information management approach and so on. For those non-IT projects, they'll actually have to be doing something for those as well, right?
Correct.
It's
Now,
not going to be just a given sort of thing.
It's not going to be a given. Correct. We'll talk about this a little bit more in terms of when you need to do the planning. When we talk about the first task, plan B approach, we'll be talking about how and when planning would be done in waterfall projects as well as agile projects. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay. That's okay too.
Okay. Okay. Some more stuff which are not mentioned on the slides, right? When you are studying for the exam, when it comes to planning, consider these aspects, right? First thing that you need to do is understand the type of engagement that you're getting to, right? Anyway, you need to know, okay, I'm working in a telco company. I'm working in a bank as an analyst, right? I'm working in the retail industry as an analyst. You need to know the industry, the business, and the context that you are working in, right? And then you need to also identify what sort of an approach is followed when doing your work. That's basically your waterfall or agile, plan-driven or change-driven pieces of work that you are doing. So when planning, first of all, think about the industry and the context, or the organization and the context. Then think about the approach that you're following to do your analysis work. Then spend time understanding your stakeholders, right? For whom am I doing this? Who is impacted? Who can provide information to me? How do I need to collaborate with them, right? So think about that next in terms of planning. Then think about how are you going to collect the information and manage the information that you collect. That's governance. How are you going to maintain the relationships among the pieces of information you collect? How are you going to keep track of the models that you create, or the documents that you create, right? How are you going to identify the relationships among these documents? How are you going to save the documents? How are you going to enable change, keep track of the changes, right? And then think about planning how we are going to manage the information that you collected, the changes to be made, and then how are you going to disseminate the information, or how are you going to distribute the information to the relevant people. So these are some factors to consider when it comes to planning and monitoring the BA work. Okay. Are we good? So shall I move to the first task, plan business analysis approach. Now I want to show you all something. So I'll just put share. Okay, can you all see the screen? It's a white screen, whiteboard.
Yeah.
Can see, right? So the first task is about plan business analysis approach. I'll ask you all a question first of all. What do we mean by an approach?
How we are going to conduct it, like what's the way forward?
How we are going to do something. Exactly right. It basically involves the method that we are going to follow. In order to do our analysis work, what sort of method are we going to follow, or what sort of steps are we going to follow? That's the basic definition of an approach, right? Now, if I draw a diagram and show you all, let's say we want to travel from Colombo to Kandy. Right? So let's say this is the path from Colombo to Kandy. Let's put Colombo, Kandy. Right. When I want to travel from Colombo to Kandy, I need to plan how I'm going to get there, right? And how I'm going to get there, and what sort of activities that I want to do along the way. So I might say, okay, I want to leave sharp at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? So let's say we are planning to go on a trip. We want to leave sharp at 7 o'clock in the morning from Colombo, and we will plan the route that we are going to take. We will say that, okay, we can plan to take, let's say, the highway up to a certain point. Let's say we'll exit from Negombo and then reconnect to the Kandy road and then go to Kandy from there, right? So route can be the highway, or it can be straight away going along the Kandy road. So we will select the route. What else would we plan? We will plan the vehicle, isn't it? We will plan whether we are going to take a bus. Are we going to hire a bus? Are we going to go in public transport, or are we going to travel in our own vehicles? Are we going to travel on the train? So we will plan the vehicle that we are going to take, right? What else would we plan? When we get to Kandy, we need to get to Kandy by 11 o'clock in the morning. When we get to Kandy, we will stay at this particular location, right? What else?
The breakfast location, right?
We will plan for the breakfast location. Exactly, right? So we will say that, okay, we will have breakfast by 9 o'clock in the morning, and we will stop at, just say, Ambepussa. Okay, anything else? We might plan for entertainment along the way, right? Say breakfast. Okay. Now, can you all see that we have planned the entire route, entire journey that we are going to take from Colombo when we are traveling from Colombo to Kandy, right? So this is one approach that we can take. This talks about the different methodologies that we are going to follow. We are talking about, or we are planning the different methodologies that we are going to follow to travel from Colombo to Kandy. So I'll just write this methodologies. We are planning for the different methodologies that we are going to follow to get from Colombo to Kandy. Now a question for you all. What do I mean by methodology? first of all. We are talking about approaches, right? What do we mean by a methodology? Anyone? Okay, so a methodology is a collection of methods, right? A methodology is a collection of methods, tools, techniques, resources, anything that we are going to use to get from one point to the other, right? So a methodology can include the methods or the steps or the activities that we are going to do, right? Plus, it can have the tools that we are going to use. It will also have the techniques that we are going to use. It might also have the resources that we are going to use, right? It will also have the deliverables that we are going to produce. Now, just think about this, right? So, what are the different methods that we have over here? I'll put some more information, right? Let's say we are planning to use a map. Yes, we are planning to use Google Maps for our navigation, right? We plan to reach, let's just say 9:30. By 9:20 a.m. we are planning to go to Pinnala. So we'll make a stop at Pinnala to see the elephants. We'll also make a stop at what else is there? Peradeniya Gardens. I'll just put that. Right. Can I identify the methods that are involved over here?
Time estimate or an effort estimate, sort of.
So what do methods involve? What are methods?
It should be method of transportation, method of entertainment, method of meals. Is it like that?
Correct, right? So can you remember I said that methods are activities or tasks that you would do. Methods are simply the tasks and the activities that you do, which will involve some steps that you want to follow, right? Okay, entertainment will involve some methods, right? You might use all these equipment to do it. So these equipment are like your tools and techniques that you're going to use and the resources that you're going to use. But when it comes to playing the music, you will have a list of songs that you want to sing, right? And there might be a person who has a book of songs and you will follow that particular order and sing the songs, isn't it? Now, even if you play some songs on using the flash drive, it will have a certain order that you need to follow. Same with having breakfast. You might have the breakfast prepared from home. It might be just opening up the packets and having the breakfast, or it might be a case of having the breakfast on the way, or there will need to be another method that is followed in terms of getting to the restaurant, booking a table, ordering the food, and then consuming the breakfast. Method, a set of activities that are done to get a task done. Am I making sense? Even if you're visiting Peradeniya Gardens, you will need to go to the ticket counter, buy the tickets, and then say that, okay, we want to go see these areas. Then you will get yourself checked in and visit the places, isn't it? If anything is not clear, let me know. So methodology basically involves everything in terms of methods or the activities that we want to do, the steps that we want to follow, the tools that we are going to use, the techniques that we are going to use, the resources that we'll be using, maybe Google Maps, maybe a compass, whatever, right? And the deliverables that we're going to produce. After we have our breakfast, we have full tummy, we are happy, right? So that's a deliverable in this case. After we visit Pinnala, we have seen the elephants. Okay, we have seen them bathing. Okay, again we are happy. That might be a deliverable. Any questions on this up to now? Right. This is like a plan, isn't it? I'm saying that we'll leave at 7 o'clock. We'll be here by 9 o'clock. We'll be at this place by 9:20, by 10:30, and by 11 o'clock we should be in Kandy. This has a definite plan that we have created to achieve the objective that we want to achieve, right? This approach of having a definitive plan is called a plan-driven approach. Clear up to now? Any questions?
Umesh, just one question. I think it might be a silly question. In terms of deliverables, does it have to be always like something tangible, like a document or something, or could it just be something like a knowledge transfer or
Can be.
something?
Can be.
Yeah.
Can be intangible also. Correct. I'll give this example. Like I'll continue and I'll talk about the other approach also, and we'll try to convert this into an example that we all are familiar. Right? We'll try to apply it to IT, and then we'll bring in a non-IT example also. So what I explained is having a plan and following that plan is an approach or a way of doing something, and this approach is called a plan-driven approach. Right? Okay. Now a question: what will happen if someone gets late? How do I change the color in this? So I'll ask you all, what will happen if someone gets late? Let's say we are going on a office trip. We were planning to leave by 7 o'clock. Someone hasn't turned up. Now it's 7:30 in the morning. What will happen?
Whole plan get delayed, right?
Whole plan gets delayed, right? So we are now leaving at 7:30 in the morning. We were planning to take the Colombo Kandy highway. Now what will happen? We can't take the Colombo Kandy highway. We will need to. Sorry, we were planning to take the Colombo Kandy road. Now it won't work. If we are to get to this place by 9 o'clock, we will need to take maybe the highway up to a certain point. So we will need to go up to a certain point using the highway, then connect back to the Kandy road and take it from there. Right? Simply because a couple of people got late. Right? What will happen now as we go along? There's an accident somewhere over here. Right? Again, we can't take the main route. We need to divert. Take an alternate route, connect back to the main road, and then get to Kandy. Right? We had a plan, but we can't stick to the plan. We need to alter our plan because of certain situations that are happening in the environment. This sort of an approach is called what? If this is first one is plan driven, the second one is change driven approach. Right? What is an alternative word for change driven approach? Agile. Plan driven? Waterfall. Okay.
Ramesh, even if it's a plan driven, even if it's a waterfall, we always have the contingencies, right? I mean, like, 7:30, okay, fine. I mean, we'll keep like, this buffer, that buffer, like.
Okay. Yeah, contingencies can be there. You can plan for contingencies also. Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So basically what I'm saying is our planning activities as a BA, the planning activities that we do will range between being a plan driven approach and a change driven approach. Right? Basically, we can plan for the entire thing upfront, or we can plan on an ongoing basis. Now we can, simply because this person got late, we changed our plan. We took an alternate route and came back. Now let's say we were supposed to have breakfast at Ambepussa. Because we are taking this particular route, we can't have breakfast at Ambepussa. We'll be going on an alternate route. Now we need to change our plan and have our breakfast somewhere else. Can happen. So we are changing our plan along the way. So those type of approaches are called change driven approaches. And now we as analysts, the work that we do, we will need to do that work within these two approaches. So we need to plan our work according to the approach that we select. Is that okay? Any questions on what I covered? What I'll do is I'll first of all share, sorry, not share, I'll save the whiteboard. Give me a second. Okay. And I'll share the slide deck again. Okay. So like I said, planning is the overall method or the approach that we are, an approach is the overall method or the methodology that we are selecting to conduct the business analysis activities. This will involve all the activities that we are going to perform, when we are going to perform them, the resources that we are going to use, the tools and techniques we are going to use, the outputs or the deliverables that we are going to produce, right? This will also involve identifying the amount of effort that we need to put, the stakeholders that might be involved. For example, if we are to visit Pinnavala, we need to make sure that we have contacted someone over there and reserved. If we are to have breakfast at Ambeposa, we need to make sure that we have contacted the restaurant and booked that place. So there might be some stakeholders involved, the methodology that we're going to follow, and so on. Right. The inputs for this task will be the business need, the identified business need. Now now let's bring back our discussion from that practical example to the real world in terms of the type of work that we do. Whenever we plan, whenever we need to plan, it's because there's a change initiative that we need to get involved in, right? So there might be a new system that we need to implement. There might be a new business process that we need to implement. There might be a change to a process that we need to analyze and execute. So there's a need that has come. We are planning to satisfy this need. So the need becomes an input. Then in terms of analysis tasks, these are the things that we will be doing. Selecting the approach, selecting the technique, selecting the methodology to be followed, activities to be done, and so on. And then the output would be the analysis approach that we create. The analysis approach will involve everything that we discussed in terms of the tasks to be done. What activities the BA is going to perform, what activities the analyst is going to perform when doing the system implementation, for example. What activities the analyst is going to do when doing the risk assessment. Who will do it, when the analyst will do it. Sorry, what sort of analysis activities will be done, and the order in which activities will be done. So the activities, who will do it, timing of those activities, and the sequence or the order in which the analysis task will be done will be included in the analysis approach. Right. We need to talk about these now. I'll go back to the whiteboard. Oh, what we'll do is this. Can you all log on to the Jamboard? I'll let you all, first of all, do an activity and then we'll come back. Can you all join the Jamboard? You will have the link. Or shall I share it? Hello. that one. Okay. Now everyone can get together and do this, right? Think about the plan-driven approach and the change-driven approach that we can follow to plan our analysis work. Right? Basically, all the planning activities that a business analyst would do will fall to planning in an agile approach or in a change driven approach or to planning in a predictive approach or a waterfall approach, right? I want you all to think about the type of planning that will happen and when this planning will happen, if it is a predictive approach and if it is an adaptive approach for some sort of analysis work. Did you all get what I said? I put a sticky note and say, okay, what type of analysis work will be done? What type of planning work will be done? When the planning will be done. How formal would be the plan? Complex. Go together, how complex and detailed would the plan be? Can you all discuss these four elements related to plan driven and change driven approaches? I'll put two more sticky notes in different colors. Plan driven. Right. Now you all know what plan driven and change driven is now. I want you all to think about these four topics for plan driven engagements and change driven engagements. Right. You all can discuss, then we'll have a discussion once you all are done. Okay, I'll do this. I'll put you all into a breakout room. Otherwise, and put a timer. So I'll put a timer for 15 minutes. So you all need to finish your discussion within 15 minutes. Then I think that's the best thing to do. Let me put everyone into a breakout room. Should be possible. Okay, so I'm creating a breakout room. You all can discuss, and I'm putting a timer. Automatically bring back the breakout room within 15 minutes, right? Done.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah.
Okay, I are here. Right. Let's discuss what you all were talking about, right? I'll share my screen. Let's look at the whiteboard first of all. Right. So you all were talking about plan driven and change driven. You all were talking about waterfall and agile. Let's first of all look at what we mean by plan driven for any initiative that we do, right? If we draw a timeline like this, just assume that this is a straight line, right? What we mean by plan driven is that we have distinct phases of the initiative that we have identified, distinct phases. Now, if it is a software development project, we might have identified a phase where we do the, let's say, the pre-sales, right? This might be applicable even for other industries also. Let's say we want to sell a product or manufacture a product, we might have a pre-sale stage where we sell our concept and try to get customers, right? Then we plan how we are going to do the implementation, a planning stage. We might have a requirements phase where we talk to our stakeholders and get the needs. Then we will have an analysis phase. I'll just put these phases, right? There can be more. So let's say implementation. So there are distinct phases of the engagement that we have identified if it is a plan driven approach, right? And this pre-sale stage might run for 1 month, planning for 1 month, requirements for 3 months, analysis for 2 months, implementation for 6 months, and so on, right? Now, when we say that we do planning of analysis work for a plan driven approach, that means that we need to plan the work that we are going to do as an analyst for all these phases. Did you all get that? Right. So as an analyst, if I'm get involved in the initiative, in the project during the pre-sale stage, what sort of activities am I going to do? It might be a case of preparing a slide deck, a demo deck, whatever, right? So there will be certain, let's say it can be budget, what else? Initial requirements. Like this, there can be an initial set of tasks that needs to be done if it is an analyst who gets involved in the pre-sale stage of an engagement, right? So like this, we can identify analyst activities that an analyst would do for the pre-sale stage, planning stage, requirement stage, analysis stage, implementation stage. For example, now if it is requirement stage, we might need to plan how we are going to elicit the requirements, what techniques we are going to use. Are we going to do an interview? If we are going to do interviews, when we are going to perform them? How many interviews are we going to do? Who are the stakeholders who need to be involved in these interviews? If it is the analysis phase, how are we going to do the analysis? Are we going to use spreadsheets for it, right? So at the start of each initiative, normally the planning would happen. I'll just move it here just to show that this planning normally will happen for the analyst during the initial stage of each phase of the project. So there will be some sort of planning that is happening here. There can be planning that is happening here. Before the start of each phase of the engagement, we will need to do some planning. So this is plan driven approach. Is that okay? Normally what will happen is you will create a plan. In plan driven approaches, you will document it, show it to your stakeholders, and get a formal sign off. So for each phase of the project, you might create a plan and get the sign off from the stakeholders. Whereas in a change-driven engagement, I'll clear everything. If it is a change-driven engagement, what it means is we are doing our work as iterations. So I'll just say these are my iterations, right? Okay. So this is one iteration, this is one iteration. What we mean by an iteration is that the work is time boxed. So this piece of work is done for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Another set of work is done for another 2 weeks, and another set of work is done for another 2 weeks, and so on, right? If it is a plan driven approach, before we start doing the work for the next phase, everything needs to be frozen, and then only you can take up the work for the next phase of the project. If it is a change driven approach, before the start of each iteration, you need to plan. Like you all discussed, if it is a software development project, we might plan one iteration ahead. We might plan over here what we are going to do during the next iteration. We might plan here what we are going to do during the next iteration. Right? So planning can actually happen at the start of the iteration, or it can even happen before the iteration, so that the analyst can be ready for whatever work needs to be done during that particular iteration, right? So the BA will need to plan for the amount of work that we are planning to do here, what sort of analysis work do I need to do? What sort of elicitation do I need to do? What sort of documentation do I need to do? So for some limited piece of work, we plan. For this limited piece of work, again, we plan. So this is called a change-driven approach. So we are incrementally adding onto the solution in a change-driven environment until we reach the last iteration where we will have the entire solution done. So we keep on adding parts to the solution at the end of each iteration, at the end of which we will have the entire solution done. So the planning also happens in an ongoing basis, or we call this elaborative planning or adaptive planning. In change-driven engagements, what we do is we do adaptive planning, even for analysis work. So the planning that we do for change-driven engagements can be informal. Like you all said, it can be semi-formal. What we mean by semi-formal, in your case, I'm sure this is what you mean. We plan what we as analysts, what we are going to do. We might not get a formal sign-off for any document. We might document our plan as a wiki page or even a simple meeting note or an email, send it to our stakeholders and say, okay, as the analyst, these are the things that I'm going to do, and get their approval. It can even be a verbal approval that we are getting, completely fine. So that can be a semi-formal agreement that we get, or a sign off that we get. Any questions on plan driven and change driven approaches and the planning that happens? Hello.
I'm good.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Okay. Let me share the entire screen now. I'll go back to the slide deck. Okay, so these are the things that we looked at. We'll look at some more details when it comes to the second bullet point. So planning can fall into these two categories. We saw that. Now in predictive approaches, we can even use templates. Now, for example, for planning, Virtusa has a BA plan template, right? If it is a change request that we are going to implement, there'll be a change request form that needs to be filled, right? So if it is a formal approach, there can be templates that are used also. which are previously agreed, and then plans are created at the start of each phase. Whereas adaptive approaches or change-driven approaches, the planning happens before the iteration, at the start of each iteration, and then at the end of the iteration, we will evaluate the plan, or we will review the plan, and if any changes are required to the plan, we can incorporate those changes also into the plan. That is allowed in change-driven approaches. Okay. One thing to note, now I know I also mentioned these two words, plan-driven approach and change-driven approach. IIBA, the BA book, doesn't talk about plan-driven or change-driven. They use these two words instead. Just remember that, right? IIBA doesn't use the word waterfall. IIBA doesn't use the word agile. Yes, agile is used as a perspective, but IIBA refers to plan-driven and change-driven as predictive and adaptive. Plan-driven approaches are predictive approaches. We can predict what we are going to do in the next phase. Adaptive means we can't predict. The environment keeps on changing. We need to adapt to the environment. So those are adaptive approaches, are actually a change-driven approaches. Right. Now we said that predictive plans are formal, adaptive plans are informal. How do you decide on the formality? So the BA book lists all these criteria to decide on the formality of the level of plan. Consider the risk. Consider the complexity and the risk that is involved in the initiative. If it is a highly complex initiative, if it is a highly complex project or a high risk project, then we might need a formal plan, right? There might be industry regulations. For example, if we are doing a project for Dialog, highly regulated telco industry, then we will need a formal plan, right? It can be a formal plan can be mandated by contracts or agreements. Now, even if it is a change-driven approach, even if it is an adaptive approach, there might be industry regulations which ask for a formal plan. Can happen, right? I think that is what is happening for you all at Dialog, Farah. Now, even though you all are saying that you all are working in an agile way, in an adaptive way, since you all are working in a highly regulated environment, you all need to create maybe a formal plan, right?
Also, another term that they've used here, or they use, is ring-fenced and scope-based.
Ring-fenced.
Yeah, I am still trying to figure out. So what, from what I can gather, ring-fence means that we can keep going on. Like I am thinking similar to agile, and scope-based is similar to waterfall, where there's a scope and we stick to it. But again, like, yeah, I even when I googled it, I couldn't find that word anywhere. So, but this is something that we commonly use here.
Okay, might be a word that they have created.
Okay, because you also haven't heard it, right?
No.
Okay. Ring-fenced, is it to do with highly regulatory items? Because I can remember something like ring-fence when I was working in banking, where there were some regulations that European Banking Authority imposed, and all the banks had to comply to certain standards. So I'm just thinking whether that's to do with something.
No, not that also. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe stuff that they create. I mean, at Dialog. Anyway, so what I was telling you all is the formality and the level of detail of your planning approach will depend on on all these criteria: complexity, risk, regulated industries. If the contract or the agreement with the vendor mandates a formal plan to be produced by the BA, right, by the analyst, then we will need to produce a formal plan. For example, if you all have done any projects for ICTA, right, ICTA asks for a plan. Give us your plan. Give us a formal plan how you're going to work. So vendor agreements. If the stakeholders are dispersed, you might want to create a working agreement with all the stakeholders involved. Then you might create a formal plan. if the resources are outsourced, if we have multiple vendors working on one change initiative, if you want to manage everything properly, then you might create a formal plan. All these factors will need to be considered when creating a plan, right? And deciding on the formality of the plan. And creating the approach involves these two activities: breaking down or identifying the activities or tasks that the analyst plans to do, right? It can go down to the level where you sort of create a work breakdown structure. The business analyst can create his or her own work breakdown structure. Bank of England. So this is what they're mentioning. Is it Rifat? I just saw your chat.
Yeah, ring fenced, where all retail banks were kind of had to comply to certain regulations. That's when I heard about ring fenced.
Okay.
So that's why I just put it in place.
Okay. So I was talking about this now. Identifying the activities that you need to do, and then put those in your plan. Now, what it means is this: if I go back to my whiteboard, I'll clear this. As the analyst, if you are, let's say, you're following a plan, a predictive approach, or a waterfall approach, let's say you need to plan what you're going to do during elicitation, right? You need to identify, okay, interview stakeholder XYZ. I'll just say this is the person's name, right? At let's say Union Place head office. So basically, you need to identify all the details related to this particular activity you're going to do at the Union Place head office. Start the meeting at, say, starting at 9 a.m. on the 24th. Like this, you need to create an extensive plan. That's what is meant by. You can see. Can you see the screen? All right. That's what that's what is meant by determine the activities. Basically, you need to identify all the activities that you're going to do in detail, with the timing, with the deliverables, with the even the effort. You can actually go into the level of identifying the effort for each of those activities. Not just this, even identifying the methods and the tools that you're going to use. Okay, I'm going to record the interview. For that, I will use a voice recorder. I'm going to use Excel for my analysis work. So like that, you can create an extensive plan, putting all those details also, right? So we talked about timing, when the planning would happen. For a predictive approach, the planning would happen at the start of each iteration or phase. Adaptive at the start of each iteration. And even the timing will depend on these factors: whether the resources are available, whether which initiative is high priority, whether there are any other initiatives which are ongoing, which has an impact on our initiative, our piece of work, whether there are any contractual deadlines. These factors will have an impact on our planning again. There can be risks that are involved with our planning. These are factors which will even make our plan go for a 6, right? If there are many units which are impacted, if the size of change is really large, if the culture of the organization that we are dealing with is, not an easy culture, if it is a hierarchical structure that is available in the organization, if the BA is not an experienced person, all these factors will have an impact on the stability of the plan and then the level of detail of the plan, plus whether this plan can change, right? For example, if the BA is not experienced, that person might not create an extensive plan, which might result in a plan which is not stable, which is risky, right? Finally, even if it is a plan driven approach, or even if it is a change driven approach, you can show it to your stakeholders and get their sign off. If there are suggestions for improvements to be made to the plan, that can also happen. So my advice, like I said earlier, is create your own plan, at least show it to your project manager, get their buy-in. If you are working for any business unit, create a plan, show it to your manager, get their sign off, get their buy-in, and say that, tell them that these are the analysis activities that I'm planning to do. Okay. Any questions on the elements? Something that I couldn't mention to you all. So all your tasks in the BA box will follow this particular format. First of all, there will be an introduction, and it will talk about the input activity and the output. Then there will be an extensive section in your BA box which talks about all the elements that are involved with this particular activity, right? So like I explained. And then there'll be another section called guidelines and tools. What this particular section what it means is this: there would be certain elements that will guide an analyst when planning. There will be certain elements that will guide an analyst when planning. So these guidelines and tools again will repeat for all the tasks that you see in the BA box guide. So when planning, past performance will guide the BA in creating the plan. For example, let's say I as the analyst, I have worked in the airline domain before. I have been involved in a previous change initiative which was similar. So I have experience. I have done a plan in the past. I have executed that plan. So I have experience, and that experience can be used when creating a plan for another initiative, an upcoming initiative. Similarly, even the experience that we get from the plan that we created for the previous iteration can be used as experience. So that is your performance assessment. The BA has done something, assessed the performance of the previous phase or iteration, the plan that the BA created, use that experience to plan for the next iteration. The stakeholder engagement approach will be an input. Now, the stakeholder engagement approach is the output of your next task, plan stakeholder engagement, right? How the analyst is going to associate or deal with the different stakeholders will have an impact on the plan that you're creating, the activities that you're going to perform. So that will provide guidance when identifying tasks to be done. Policies that are applicable. There might be instances where certain policies mandate you to perform, you as the analyst to perform some tasks. It mandates you to use some techniques, mandates you to create some reports. So there can be certain policies that you need to comply with, which will again provide guidance when planning. Methodologies and frameworks can provide guidance. For example, let's say you are using Scrum methodology, Scrum framework, or you're using some sort of framework which is applicable for a bank or telco company or whatever, right? There will be certain rules that are specified in that tool or process or whatever, which will mandate you to work in a certain way. So the methodologies and frameworks again can provide guidance in selecting the analysis activities to be performed. And then expert judgment. The BA needs to have some sort of judgment. The BA is the expert. BA knows what needs to be done. The BA will know, okay, I need to interview this person. I need to go and observe this particular process. I need to document the requirements in this particular manner so that my implementation team understands. So that expert judgment again will provide guidance in creating a plan. And these are techniques that can be used for planning. Now, like I told you all during a previous week, the techniques will keep on repeating. So now you all will see for planning, all these techniques are applicable. Now we will be going through these techniques only once. I mean, at least once. Each technique will be going through at least once during this course. So how you all need to read this is like this. How can we use brainstorming for planning? What do we mean by brainstorming? It's about generating many ideas, right? So how can we use brainstorming for planning? We can brainstorm on the B activities, the analysis activities that we need to perform. We can brainstorm on the amount of effort that we need to put, brainstorm on the techniques to be used, brainstorm on the risks that are associated with whatever analysis activities that we select. Business cases. Now these are like the documents that we are getting from the business. The business requirements are documented in the business case document. So the business case can actually mandate you to select certain tasks to be done. It will help you identify the need that is there, the solution that needs to be implemented, and based on that, the activities that you need to perform. Document analysis, analyzing existing documents, can even be performance documents from the past, can even be any type of analysis results that we have created in the past, can provide guidance in how you are going to plan your future work. So all these are techniques that can be used in different ways. Estimation can be used when estimating the effort that you need to put for your analysis work. Financial analysis, to come up with the budget, identify the resources that are needed for the BA work, and then the budget that is required. Functional decomposition, again, to break down all the analysis activities to be performed. Interviews, item tracking, lessons learned. So let's go through these techniques. Then you all will understand. You all just need to think, okay, how can I use brainstorming for planning? How can I use process modeling for planning, and so on. Then you will see stakeholders. Again, I said that if you all remember, there are 11 stakeholders along with the business analyst. Here we see 5 stakeholders. Now in the middle, you see the business analyst. Business analyst is common for almost all the tasks. Domain subject matter expert, this person has knowledge about the business that we are dealing with. So that person's input will have an impact on the approach that we are going to follow. The domain subject matter expert can say, okay, this is the business unit that you're going to deal with. The people that are working in this unit are like this. The domain is complex. You will need to put this amount of effort, and you will need to do this type of task to get the information that you need. So he can provide input. Regulator, these are people who will look at regulatory compliance in terms of the analysis work. So they will mandate certain analysis tasks to be done. Analysis tasks to be done in a particular manner at a particular time. So they can provide input. Project manager, the analysis activities that we identify need to be given to the project manager to be included in their project management plan, right? So they are also a stakeholder. And then the sponsor is the person who is finally providing the budget. So we can come up with whatever activity we want, but if the sponsor is not giving money, we might have to cut down, right? So the sponsor is the final decision maker for whatever analysis that we analysis activities that we identify. Right, any questions on the first task? We have come to the end of the first task.
Ramesh, does the exam ask the question based on that predictive and adaptive approaches?
There can be.
Or will they directly ask from the waterfall or using by that names?
No. They will only use predictive and adaptive. Okay, there might be questions where they mention this word waterfall or agile or whatever. There can be.
Okay.
That anyway, now you all know all 3 words now. Agile or adaptive or change driven. Predictive, waterfall or plan driven. Are we good? Okay. What do you all think? How does the company that you work for plan the BA work? Any comments? I think you all have already given the answer, right? There's no planning happening. We as business analysts, we are not given the chance to even think about what activities we are going to perform, isn't it? Hello?
Unfortunately, yes.
Fortunately, yes. Okay. Uh, so think about these also. What factors are considered? Ideally, all the factors that we saw earlier, the risk involved, the regulatory compliance involved, the complexity involved, contracts or agreements that are applicable, resources, outsourced resources, all those factors needs to be considered. The sample time given, just see. And then what are the outputs that are created? Now in your companies, you might have a business analysis plan, or now since you all learned about it, you all might want to create that and add it to your business analysis center of excellence. Think about that. Create a template of your own if you want, and create a template for a BA plan and add it to your process, business BA process, right? I want you all to do an activity now. This is what you all need to do. Maybe you all can create a Google Doc. Even if we can't complete it right now, right? You all can remember the scenario that I gave you all last week, no? Last week or week before the last. The disaster management solution. Can remember, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Assume that this particular solution needs to be done using a change-driven approach. Now you all need to plan how you are going to do your analysis work. Can you all come up with a sort of an outline for a plan? Maybe use a Google Doc. Shall I quickly create a Google Doc? I think we should be able to create one here itself. Right, you all should have this now. Can you all think about creating an outline or a template to capture a plan? You can use that particular scenario as the scenario to create your template for the plan. The link, right? Did you get the link? No.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Since we only have 10 minutes, I'll explain what I'm trying to say. Did the others get the link? I only see Rifat and Farah. Or at least, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Can see, right?
Can see the screen. Can see the screen. Yeah.
Okay. So what I wanted you all to do is this: basically come up with a template for a business analysis plan for an adaptive approach. We are following adaptive approach now. I said that assume that the disaster management solution will be done using an adaptive approach. For this, we need to have a BA plan, right? What sort of elements would need to go into a plan? It can have a format like this, right? Iteration 1. So we will have multiple iterations that we will execute this particular initiative. I'll just say iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, and iteration n, assuming that this is the last one, right? What can go into the approach section of your plan? So this is something that I have used. I just create a table saying activity, right? So it can be, this is my activity description. For example, interview, say sponsor, ABC, that's the person's name. Category, this is a type of elicitation activity that I'm planning to do. Right? Timing, I would want to do this on the 24th of April. If I know when I'm planning to do it, I can even put that 9 a.m. You decide I mean the amount of the level of detail that you want to put it. If this is a recurring meeting, you can even put a frequency, right? Expected output, what are you trying to achieve through this? The tools and techniques to be used. I want to use Zoom for this interview, right? And maybe some success criteria. You decide what you want to include in your plan, basically. So you can put any number of items you want. Okay, facilitate a workshop. Facilitate workshop to share requirements with the team. So this is again some type of elicitation that I'm doing. So likewise, create a plan. Is that okay? Even what I'm saying is this: even if you create a simple table like this for your plan, completely fine and it's adequate. Any questions or observations? So this can involve process analysis, whatever analysis task you're going to do. Create backlog, can be anything. Any questions? All good? Like this, you can identify any type of task, activity that you need to do, timing, frequency, and so on. We have only about 4 minutes remaining. Do you all have any questions on what we covered today? I know I took the entire 2 hours just to discuss one task today. From next week onwards, we'll speed things up. I took some time today just so that you all got comfortable with the structure of how these tasks will appear in the BA box. And I just wanted you all to get a feeling of how we all need to think about these tasks also. Whenever you all are reading something, just try to apply like whatever methods that I used. Are we good? Do you all have any questions, or can we wrap up for today? Hello.
Yeah, well, I'm good.
Okay. How about the others?
I'm also good.
Okay. Okay, so let's meet again next Tuesday. Like I said, let's try to cover at least 2 tasks per day from next day onwards. That's the plan. It's good if you all can read the next 2 tasks before the next class. Then it will be easier for me also in terms of explaining the stuff. Right. Okay, so I'll meet you all again next Tuesday and I'll share the recording.
Alrighty. Thanks,
Okay.
Ramesh.
Thanks,
Alright.
Ramesh. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye,
Cheers. Have a good
everyone.
weekend.
Take care.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.